Welcome back, guys. I am working on the two-post lift today, and it looks like I missed a lot of footage. Apparently, I put this in time-lapse mode and apparently never hit the record button, and I kind of did all this not recording. So I'll just give you an overview. I'm not done yet anyway because, well, Chinese crap. This is an Atlas two-post lift. It's less involved than the four-post I had at the last house. And yet I have literally been working on this since 6 o'clock this morning, and it is like 5 o'clock right now. Not because it's hard, because it's missing crap tons of pieces. Some of the pieces are wrong. There's even a quality control checklist inside the box of pieces and parts where it has the part number, the description, and how many there should be. And that's check marked off, and I'm still missing pieces. So it's fantastic. So anyway, let me show you where I'm at. I did get this to a point. Well, actually, let's start with anchors. Let me walk you through. So starting with anchors. On the anchors, this isn't Atlas's fault. This is my fault or the concrete. I don't know. But I got several of these golden brass colored ones are the ones from Atlas. I got those in. But some of them wouldn't torque. When I was torquing them, they were just pulling out of the concrete. That made me nervous about the concrete. This is a 4 inches thick at the minimum spot I drilled. I drilled a few test holes before putting this in. I tried to get it where the base plate would cover, but I missed it. But I drilled a few holes to make sure that this was at least 4 inches thick. I have no idea the PSI or any of that, but I'm just kind of, crossing my fingers. So some of these bolts went in just fine, torqued them down to 150 foot-pounds, but something like that one, all 3 of these over here were just pulling out as I was torquing them. So I ended up having to do an epoxy. I've never used epoxy anchors before. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I started reading, and apparently they're a lifesaver. So I ordered some Hilti epoxy, which was insanely, stupidly expensive. But I figured I wanted the best because I don't want to do this twice. I really don't want to rip this concrete up and relay it. And so I went with the Hilti stuff. Stupidly expensive, ordered it online. And then I was thinking a little bit later, I'm like, I wonder if some of the cheap stuff you can find at like Lowe's would work. So I don't have the empty bottles. I already threw them out, unfortunately. But this is the stuff from Lowe's, A7 Plus Redhead Concrete Adhesive Anchor. And I tried this. So I drilled all 3 of these with the Hilti. I glued all those in, epoxied those in, set those anchors with the Hilti stuff. And then I did this one over here all by itself just as a test with this A7 Plus. I cleaned out those holes, didn't pull up the anchors. I drilled all the way through the concrete, so I was able to take a punch and a hammer, and I was able to punch those anchors all the way through the pad. And then I just cleaned out the holes real good, used the Hilti epoxy on these 3, the A7 on the one over there. I set those yesterday morning at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it says it only takes about 4 hours to set before you can torque it. I waited all the way till this morning, so it's closer to 20 hours. And all 4 of them torqued 150 foot-pounds, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I don't think you have to go with the Hilti. I don't know what longevity is. That's why I put the A7 Plus Redhead over here by itself. I don't know which one's better. All I can tell you is that this one and these 3 are all epoxied in, and they're all holding 150 foot-pounds, no problem. That is not Atlas's fault. Atlas's fault is everything else up to this point. Oh my God. So should we start with the sketchy part first? I got this all assembled after multiple trips to the hardware store. So this was missing, wow, where to even start? So this was missing 2 of these motor mount bolts. So I ran to Ace, got those. We were missing hitch pins out of both this lever release pin and this pin. So I went to Ace again, ended up getting those. It was missing this pulley. And Ace didn't have any. This is supposed to be an actual pulley that spins. All I had was this makeshift thing that I pounded on, and it's there. And it actually works pretty good. I did find a pulley for this side. There's a little plastic thing. The pictures show a big 2-inch one. There's a 2-inch pulley in the box. 1 2-inch pulley. And there is this one little pulley. I put the 2-inch pulley on this side, but when the carriage runs up, there's not enough room for the carriage, and it snapped the pulley. When it snapped the pulley, of course, it snapped my safety release as well. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. As far as electrical goes, it came with a little stub out. So it came with a little stub out of stripped wires about that far. What the heck are you supposed to do with that? If you wire in a plug right there, it's going to be super awkward and everything. So I went to the store and I bought some 10-aught and a plug there, ripped out the stuff they had, put this in, ran it up. This is an unfinished attic. I don't have a cover. I bought a cover. It was too small, so I got to buy a different cover. But I ran it to here, and then I ran the 10-aught Romex all the way down to a 30-amp breaker in the breaker box. So far, this is working fantastic, more or less, except for there's no safety release cable. So I went to Ace Hardware again, and I bought another one of these cables and some stop-ins. I haven't ran it yet. Being the excited guy I was and frustrated at the same time, I went ahead and threw the Jeep on here just to test it and see if it would raise and lower and all that stuff, which it does. So something that some people have complained about the base plate lifts on YouTube is because it's a base. What I mean by base plate is your wires, your cables, and your hydraulics run down here on the bottom as opposed to up top. So this is a base plate. On Atlas's website, they say you can expect some, what do you want to call it? Deflection, inflection, whatever you want to call it, due to the fact that there's nothing to support it up there. They say that's fine. They don't say how much is fine. So I took a little measurement before I put the Jeep up, and I measured from this rafter to the post and that rafter to the post. And when I lifted the Jeep all the way up as high as I could, this went in a 1/4 of an inch and that went in a 1/4 of an inch. I think I'm okay with a 1/4 of an inch. I don't see a problem with that. The Jeep is only, what, 5,500 pounds more or less, and I want to put the truck on. Putting the truck on I haven't done yet because I'm kind of scared, to be honest. So the truck, when I put the Super Duty on, these carriages are not going to be able to go as high as the Jeep did because there's not as much. I mean, the truck sits way higher, so there's only so much room it can go up. So the carriages are actually not going to go up all that high. This is a 9-foot ceiling exactly, by the way. So I don't think there's going to be a problem, but erring on the side of safety, I went ahead and I got some 2x4 by 3/16 square tubing, and because my rafters so the top of the rafters at 9 foot 3.5 inches, these posts are like 9 foot and an inch, give or take. So I couldn't get this 2x4 tubing to sit on, so I had to cut some of the tubing off and make a spacer. So for that, I drilled a hole through the top plate, through the square tubing, bolted it there, and then there's another one in the back, and then that is my tubing. I welded it on the bottom side here, and then of course both sides on either side. I don't know if that's going to help, but I'm going to find out right about now. I still don't have a safety cable installed, so I'm not going to get under the Jeep because I'm frustrated and I'm kind of done with this, to be honest. So I'm going to pull the Jeep in without the safety cable, and I'm going to lift it up just to see if this 3/16 tubing is too weak. It might kind of buckle and bow up or down, probably up. I'm hoping it doesn't. If it does, then I'll get some beefier stuff or rip up the concrete and start over. As of right now, I think we're going to be fine. I don't think this is going to lean in or out, deflect, inflect, whatever the heck it's called at all. So that's my hope, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the Jeep in. My hands are filthy, and the GoPro and everything's inside. I'm using my phone right now because the other camera is dead. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get the Jeep up there, see if it deflects. If not, I'm going to put the truck on there, the Super Duty, and see if it deflects. And if not, then I'm a happy camper. Woo! So meanwhile, so like I said, it's not all Atlas's fault. The concrete, that's a me issue, not an Atlas issue. The deflection, they say there's going to be some deflection. They don't say how much, but they say some deflection is going to happen because it's a base plate. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. I'll get the rest of it done here in a little bit. All right, so I just measured what we are at relief. Now we're gonna pick it up. Okay, now we're making positive contact. I'm just gonna check my points. I don't know where I'm supposed to jack up, so I'm just jacking up on the frame. Oh, and all is well. I'm gonna get my ladder over here so I can climb up and see how tall. Oh yeah, we gotta close that garage door. Hold on. All right, and I'm standing on the ladder just so I know when to stop on this thing. Okay, so we're gonna go right there. We're just about touching the light, the light plug. We got another couple inches. Okay, now we're touching the plug. That's as high as we're gonna go. I might move that plug so I can gain that extra 2 inches right there, but we'll see. All right, let me measure and I'll get back to you. All right, guys, good news. So that is only 3/16 wall. It's 2x6 by 3/16 steel. I should probably paint it now that I know it's gonna work, but it is gonna work. My measurement is the exact same on this side, and hello grill. The exact same on this side. So the Jeep is only 5,500 pounds, give or take. I don't really know. The truck is a full 10,000. I might throw that up here right now just to see what happens, or actually, let me fix the safety cable issue first, and then I'll throw the truck up here. And it's getting late tonight, so that might not happen till tomorrow. either way, I'll let you guys know how it works. Right now, I'm super stoked. This is so much more easier to work around than the 4-post lift. Like, no freaking kidding. This has so much more room to work around. The 4-post lift, you had 4 posts for one, and then you had the ramps that are always in the way. If you wanted to go under, you had to crawl under the ramps. You still have to crawl under this. I can only lift so high, but you don't have to crawl under the ramps. You just go where you need to go under the vehicle. So I'm super excited. Now I can see more about this Jeep. I can see way more about this Jeep. So looks like they've got the Iron Rock off-road lift, which I already knew. I'll let you know how it goes with the truck, unless I get squashed because it falls over, because, well, this Jeep is super short wheelbase, so it's no big deal. The truck is obviously a lot longer and a lot heavier, so we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know if I'm alive. Well, it hasn't fallen over, so that's something. I have put the Super Duty, the 6.0 liter Super Duty, on the lift, and it holds. It did not fall over that way, did not fall over this way. My support did not buckle. Everything is good. It fits, it sits, it lifts. So that brings me to the bad news, which is actually somewhat good news. So running boards are typically ugly, right? They're very expensive. They're very ugly. They're some help, some not help. If it's muddy outside, they end up getting you all muddy, your pants all muddy, your legs all muddy. But any other time, they're actually pretty helpful if you've got a vehicle that's somewhat lifted. All these minivans running around, the Expedition we just bought, the minivan we have, those all have running boards, and they're only 2 seconds or 2 millimeters off the ground, and it's kind of pointless, kind of a waste of effort, and I don't understand it. But the Super Duty here had them, and it was kind of helpful. The only time really used them was buckling in the kids in their car seats, but they were there. So with the lift, with the 2-post lift, these arms, I could not keep the running boards and get these arms down there, and having the 2-post lift and the ability to pick up the truck is way more important to me than running boards. So those are gone. If anybody wants them, let me know. All right, guys, so that's that. Lift is up, truck fits on it. So I'm filming this outro quite a bit after we installed this. So good news, I've used this lift a couple times. I actually had the F250 on it for a day and a half this weekend, which is a couple weekends after you see this video, and it worked out great. Also, I put the new vehicle, you don't know what that is yet, so stay tuned, but we have a new vehicle that I put on here as well to do some initial repairs right after purchasing it, because every vehicle I purchase needs repairs. So stay tuned, you'll see that. Got a lot of new stuff, guys. If you guys liked what you saw, make sure you leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, stick around, share my videos, and keep on watching. Remember, I'll have something linked down below in Amazon. I don't know what at this point, but it'll be something, as well as a PayPal link and my Zelle information. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you later.